Next up, we've got a game that none of you are gonna know, except me, because I like obscure things nobody knows about. You already know what it is by the title. And this was a Saturn game that was only released in Japan. This logo stays on here for a while. Anyway, yeah, it's an interesting concept. It's a 2D platformer where you get to play as a little taxi man. And this one never made it overseas for whatever reason. And the company that made this isn't around anymore. At least not the video games division. I looked it up and everything. Anyway, yeah, the Saturn is already an obscure system, and now we're getting into stuff that was never even, released internationally on the Saturn, so this is uncharted territory for most of us. Okay, so you can pick out your license plate. Doesn't really matter, it's just for fun. Keeping track of your save file, I guess. You gotta write something funny. What are we gonna put? Easy-E? Eat at Joe's? All those old Looney Tunes cartoons always used to say eat at Joe's. I don't know if Joe's was an actual restaurant. There you go, eat me. Something nice and mean-spirited. And we'll say 2012. Yeah, because that was a good year. It's Hurricane Sandy. Well, I don't know why that was the first thing I thought of. I remember there was a news report about Hurricane Sandy at the time, and I didn't know it at the time, but there's a type of power generator that's also called a transformer. So they mentioned that a transformer exploded during the hurricane, and obviously I knew it wasn't like, the animated type of transformers, but it just sounded funny to me. Okay, so we're getting ready for the big race. Everybody's all pumped and ready to go. We got a sexy lady taxi boobins. Yeah, maybe. Did you see that one taxi that had the afro? Yeah, there he is again in the spear. He was jumping up and down. Well, maybe it's a good thing this wasn't released internationally. It would have just pissed people off. And away go the racers. Ooh, but there's us. We're getting trampled. We've all been there. So, now we got more loading. There's a lot of that. We're gonna go cross country to do something. Maybe we're participating in the race still? I guess that wasn't particularly well explained. Okay, so once you see this game in action, I think you'll appreciate what it is. Alright, and here we go. First thing you'll notice that this game is freaking beautiful for a 2D game. Might not come through well on the low resolution, but when I was playing this at Mednoff, it was just, my god, it was fantastic to look at, especially for the time. Really just shows off the Saturn's 2D hardware. I mean, if you don't really know what to look for in 2D games, you might not find this too impressive, but for the time, this looked quite nice. But I should probably get off this topic so I don't just keep repeating myself. So, you can pick up those fuel cans because your fuel's going to keep running out quickly. Alright, we got a ninja battle going on here between two ninja taxis. Alright, well, we'll just leave them to it. I don't know if you're just supposed to wait for them to finish it up and then you get a bonus item or something. But regardless. Okay, I don't think the stars do anything. Maybe they give you a bonus at the end, but I don't think it's like in a traditional video game where you get an extra life when you get 100 of them. So yeah, just kind of there for fun. If you can dash into the stars, you get a bonus. Let's see if I can pull that off. Well, maybe later, when the opportunity presents itself. I gotta dodge the cops. Okay, and now we're going to bonus land. Eventually. Early disc-based games had very long loading times, long and frequent. So there probably aren't too many other Let's Plays of this game out there in the world. I'm probably like one of maybe 3 people, I'm guessing, who's played this one. One of the other ones I know off the top of my head is Doc Future. I don't know if that video's even still up anymore. He's a real funny guy, that Doc Future. I mean, I've never met him in person, but just judging by his videos and such, he did that parody of "Bitch, I Look Like Goku," and it was "Bitch, I Look Like Garfield," and it was filled with Garfield puns, and it was to the tune of the Space Harrier theme, and it was just so well put together. The fact that he chose Space Harrier of all things really just made it better, just an obscure Sega game that nobody remembers. Considering the fact that he did a Let's Play of this game, and he knows what Space Harrier is, he clearly has excellent taste in video games, much like myself. But that's enough gushing about people that I've never actually met. We're on to level 2. Help me, why does it say that? Oh, I guess it didn't matter. It doesn't matter. You know what that's a reference to? Probably not. Whoa, that was close. Yeah, it took a while to actually get this recorded. Mednafen was kinda fighting me, so to speak. Mednafen's Saturn core is very demanding versus the other cores, and then even within that, certain games are more demanding than others, and apparently this was one of them. So the only way to really get it to work without having stuttery audio all the time was to, I had to lower the resolution that it outputs the video to in order to reduce the load on my computer. And even then, the audio in this does get a little staticky here and there, but it's not overly noticeable, so it's no big deal. Okay, I feel like these other taxis that you just see falling out of the sky, they're supposed to be our friends or something, but you can still jump on them. Yeah, see, because the lady taxi gave us a kiss earlier, so you would think that means that they're an ally of some kind, but then they still let you jump on them. I don't quite understand that. And once again, we've got a loading screen, and I can't cut this down at all because there's something moving on it, so it'd be really obvious if I did. Okay, coming up on the first boss soon enough. And but first we gotta get through this segment. There's lots of video games who have done an idea like this before, where you're on a platform that's constantly moving upwards, and you have to watch enemies and hazards and such will drop on you. Like, for example, other games that have used it, there was Turtles in Time, I want to say, and there was The Death and Return of Superman. That was another one. And others, I'm sure. Maybe Mighty Number 9. Or maybe I'm just imagining things. Yeah, Mighty Number 9 was a lot better than everybody said. I think people on the internet just like to complain. Because negativity gets views. It always does. So I don't know why there's a horn next to your health gauge. You'd think they'd want it to be like a gas tank or something, but I guess it would be kind of hard to draw that in a way so that it's easily identifiable from the player's perspective. Oh well. I like the statue in the background of the taxi of liberty, so to speak. Yeah, take a good look at that, because there are very few other videos on YouTube where you can see such unique artwork. A very rare game. Well, I guess it's not that rare thanks to emulators and such. Have I ever talked about just what a miracle Saturn emulation has gone through in the past few years? For like 20 years after the Saturn came out, the emulation's always been terrible, but then just out of nowhere, they just hit a breakthrough with Mednafen, and since then it's been pretty much fine. How about that? Okay, this boss takes lots of hits. And you got these little demons trying to push the stage down as well. And we gotta wait for the platform to come back now. We're waiting. We're waiting. Any second now. What do you think the developers of Tryrush Deppy are doing these days? Guess it'd be kind of hard to track them down. I mean, you could look at the credits, but it's probably just a bunch of really common Japanese names, and the Japanese equivalent of being named Jack Smith. Just a quick Google search of Jack Smith wouldn't get you who you want. Okay, we missed the platform. We're screwed. Uncle screwed. Lots of sitting and waiting. Ego Raptor would hate this. But secretly he'd enjoy it because it gives him the opportunity to be a contrarian. But that's irrelevant to what we're trying to do right now. So whenever this platform comes down, you got two choices. You can either mash on those enemies so that they don't bring the stage down, or you can focus on attacking the boss like that. I screwed it up and we only got one hit on the boss on that pace, unfortunately. But I also did manage to get rid of the enemies at the same time, so we're not in too bad shape, I guess. I like how Tryrush Deppy, I assume that's the character's name, I like how Tryrush Deppy's grill is made to look like teeth. It's very unique. Yay, gas. Alright, gonna get a few good hits on this one. Yeah, I guess only two. Thought I could squeeze in a few more. Come on. You're not the platform. You're not Stu. I'm not Stu. Ah, here it comes. Oh, finally. Not as many enemies this time. Alrighty, here we go. Wait, shit. Okay, that's different. Oh, that was the worst spot to land on. Well, I think you get the idea of Tryrush Deppy at this point. And just something I'd like to add is now that Saturn emulation is actually decent, I encourage you to look into the Saturn's Japan-only library, because there's a lot of neat stuff in there, not just this. I don't know the exact number of Saturn games officially released in Japan. I've heard some estimates that was over 1,000, and other times I've heard it was like 800 or so, but either way, there's a whole lot of interesting stuff if you're willing to put in the time to find it. Could make for interesting Let's Plays of your own, perhaps?